Hello, I'm Daily Adams sports editor Kurt Ritzman, and today we've got something new for you guys. Usually I sit here and talk about football with Todd Hummel, but today we're bringing you a playoff preview for the fall sports other than football. I'll have a couple of guys joining me later, but for now it's just me. So our fall sports get underway Tuesday night with some girls soccer and field hockey games. Then later in the week, boys soccer and cross country start. I'm going to start with cross country. We have the district meets Thursday morning at Bloomsburg University. On the girls' side, we have the defending state champion in Class 2A girls, Danville. And I think they've got to be one of the favorites to get one of District 4's two spots to advance this year. The other team I'm going to take is Warrior Run. They've got a lot of really strong young runners led by Lauren Trapani, who's a sophomore. And last year, she was the state runner-up as an individual. There's a lot of competitive teams in 2A. I think that could be a really good race. I think Lewisburg is a team to watch out for, possibly taking one of those two team spots. But I would expect the Green Dragons to have an individual or two advance if they don't get a team spot. And I think Shikellami's Nicole Keeley could grab one of those individual spots as well. In 1A girls, the teams that are in the Valley that will be there is just Southern Columbia and Mount Carmel. I don't see either of them taking the one team spot from Class A, but I think Haley Scopoliti from Southern Columbia has a chance to grab one of the 5 individual spots, so watch out for that. If I'm forced to predict a team, I would think Troy will advance, and Wyalusing has a shot to take that from them also. On the boys' side, our only Class A school this year is Southern Columbia. I'm going to take Wyalusing to win the boys' title, but I think Southern Columbia has a really good chance to get at least Ethan Knoble through as an individual. In Class 2A on the boys' side, the two teams I'm predicting to advance are Lewisburg and Central Columbia, but I think Shikellamy has a chance to pass one of those two for a team spot advancing on. If not, Logan Strauss and Doug Hallman have good chances to advance individually as the Braves. Lewisburg and Central Columbia I just think are really strong. But again, we have a chance for a lot of the individual runners to come from the Daily Adams coverage area. Sliding over to girls soccer. So there are some games that get underway Tuesday night. Meadowbrook Christian plays Millville, and Sayre plays Towanda in Class A. And I don't see either of those any of those 4 teams making a deep run. East Juniata is the top seed. They're undefeated this year. They've got to be the favorite to win the district title. The East Juniata girls made it to the state semifinals last year, and they've looked really good all season long. If someone's going to upset them, I like the 3 seed Southern Columbia. They just handed the 2 seed South Williamsport their first loss of the season, and I like a lot about what both Tigers teams are doing. If those 2 teams meet in the final, I think that could be, that's something you definitely want to watch. I'm going with another favorite in Class 2A, Midwest girls, top seed. They also reached the state semifinals last year. Now, Kelly Byler, their best team, the best player in the area from last year is off at Penn State. But I still think the Mustangs have enough to get it done and repeat as district champions. Lewisburg and Danville are on the bottom half of that bracket. I think they'll have to play really well to make it to the final. I think Midwest is going to face the 2 seed Central Columbia there, but that'll be a real good game. In Class 3A, I'm going with a little bit more of an underdog. Shikellami's the 4 seed. They play top seeded Athens in the semifinals. Only 4 teams make it in Class 3A. I have seen the Braves a couple times this year. I really like what they've been able to do. I think that they win the district title as the 4 seed. The other semifinal pits 2 Valley teams against each other, Selinsgrove and Mifflinburg, and I think that semifinal is going to be a great game. I could see either of those teams winning the district title as well. I think Class 3A is really wide open. I'm picking Shikellamy, but I think any of those 4 teams could win it. All right, I'm now joined by Mike Bullock, who heads our boys soccer coverage. Thanks for joining me, Mike.
I'm glad to be here, Kurt. Thank you.
We're going to start with the big schools because I started with the little schools for girls. So District 4, Class 3A, We got two local teams, Selinsgrove playing Mifflinburg in the semifinals. First, who do you see as the favorite to come out of District 4 there?
I think let's go back and look at Athens.
Sure.
You know, from the fact that they won District 4 2 years ago, apparently did not yield a goal in any of their league games this year. The one question mark is they played a whole bunch of New York schools.
Okay.
So the relative strength isn't there. Or relative strength is unknown. And, but whoever survives the Selinsgrove Mifflinburg game is certainly going to challenge them significantly because they both have explosive personnel.
Okay. Now, in Class 2A, that's where the bulk of our teams who made the playoffs are. Lewisburg had a few stumbles this year. They're the 5 seed. Midwest is the top seed. We also got Warrior Run, Danville in there. So 2A, who's your favorite?
Right now it's Midwest, and it's not because it's chalk. Midwest has beaten everybody in the bracket that they would have played at this point in time.
Sure.
They did lose to Central Columbia, but I really honestly thought they dominated the final 60, 70 minutes of that game. And I saw that in person, and we're a bit unlucky, which can happen in soccer. And, but I just think that they have been tested. They've been waiting for an opportunity to get out of the District 4 tournament and get on to the state tournament. It's not so stringent this time because of the top 2 go as opposed to just the champion. But I still like the fact that they've been very good all year long.
You mentioned Central Columbia, the 2 seed. If it's not Midwest, do you think it's the Blue Jays?
I would have to think so, just because Midwest will have to escape Lewisburg in order to get to the championship game. Central and Loyalsock just had a scoreless draw not too long ago. Central doesn't give up a whole lot. They don't score a whole lot against some of the better squads, but they were in the semis last year and have a lot of people back from that. So they're certainly as capable. Loyalsock's kind of the unknown because they did not qualify for districts last year, but they have an older team, a brand new coach who grew up here in Sunbury, Ian Scheller. And they're a bigger squad, so I think any of the top 5 are capable. Lewisburg and Wellsboro actually scrimmaged prior to the season. Lewisburg beat them, but that would have been with Ben Liscombe, and I think that's the big question mark about the Green Dragons right now.
Okay, we'll drop down to Class A. We've only got 2 teams there. Meadowbrook's the 5 seed. East United is the 7 seed. Both of the top 2 seeds are from north of us. Millville at number 1, Sullivan County number 2. Who do you like in Class A?
I think you have to go with the traditional power, and that's Millville. They lost to Midwest last week, 2-1, I believe it was. Very capable team, and try to load up when they can and play some of the contenders from the other classifications.
Okay.
And, they obviously would have run into Sullivan County at some point. And the same with Benton. And I think came through those matchups. While Benton, they meet early. But Sullivan County and Northeast Bradford, maybe. Gailton, it's hard to say. But I still think Millville is tested and has been through this process a number of times, and I think we'd be a little wacky not to go with the Quakers as the as the favorite there. Although the top 2, also advance from Single A. So just getting to the final is the only thing that. And then whether you want to play near home in the first round of states on election night, that's something different. So,
do you see any team from the bottom half of the bracket as far as seed wise? Our 2 local teams, Muncie or Benton, as you mentioned. Do you see any of them being able to make a run to that final, pull an upset or 2?
I think East Juniata, has a very young squad. They've obviously had to deal with some teams in the Tri-Valley League that in Halifax and Greenwood and Juniata that are going to be players in their respective district tournaments. and they may be a year away, maybe 2 years away, but this will be a good experience for them coming in right around 500. They also played Midwest recently, and I think that was a 2-0 or 2-1 game.
2-1. Cy Frank scored late.
Thursday, I believe it was. So they've gotten better. They're on their third coaching staff in as many years. So I think that's taken them a little while. And again, it's a very, very young squad and they have some history there. So, there are expectations.
Okay. And then let's just bounce over to District 3 quickly. Undefeated Greenwood, first perfect regular season in school history, as you let us know last week.
Yes.
They're the 2 seed to Lancaster Mennonite. I guess what's Greenwood's chances to win this district?
It'll be very difficult.
Okay.
I don't know what they're thinking right now. They were single A. They made it to the final last year in single A. Lancaster Mennonite went to the state championship game and is a traditional power in District 3 and statewide. Then, right below Greenwood, I believe you have Fleetwood and Ole Valley, which are, 2 teams right out of the Berks County region, which, traditionally, put good sides on the field.
Okay.
Their opener won't be easy. They're going to play Biglerville, which is, oddly enough, the team they beat when they won their district championship about 7 or 8 years ago, or Lancaster Catholic.
Oh.
And the advantage that the winner of the Biglerville-Lancaster Catholic game has is they'll play tomorrow night, Tuesday, and they'll have that chance of, getting those anxieties out that come with opening up postseason play.
Yeah, Greenwood doesn't play till Saturday, but they do get to open at home. So
Right. And their field is a little unique, and with the dirt from the softball field in one end, and so I don't know that either of those teams has ever played at Dar Roush Memorial Field in Millerstown, and that will be an experience in itself.
Okay. All right. Thanks for joining us, Mike. I'll be back right after this with Scott Dudinsky to talk about field hockey. Now I'm joined by Scott Dudinsky, who heads up our field hockey coverage at the Daily Item. Taking a look at District 4 Class 2A, where Selinsgrove is the defending 13-time champion.
Correct.
And the top seed. Only 3 teams in this bracket. The other semifinal features number 2 seed Southern Columbia against 3rd seed Shikellamy. And who's the favorite in this Class 2A bracket?
Well, Selinsgrove's the favorite to win its 14th consecutive district championship. The Seals are 14-2-2 this year. Their only 2 losses came to the Class Single A finalists from a year ago, Greenwood and Wyoming Seminary. They tied Dallas and Wyoming Valley West this season. But beyond a record that may be a bit curious, Selinsgrove has easily the best senior class, deepest and most talented senior class in the area.
Wow.
And their leading scorer is, in fact, a junior, Emily Swineford. She has 22 goals and 62 points this season. But following her up, scoring-wise, are a host of seniors. Jessica Alba, not that one, but the senior at Selinsgrove, has 11 goals. Elise Hessick has 8, and 2 of the all-state forwards that are gunning for another all-state more all-state recognition this year. Both Megan Hoffman and Anna Piazzu have 7 goals apiece. By far, Selinsgrove, with its tradition and with its power, its strength of schedule this year, would appear to be an overwhelming favorite. They have been given 2 good championship games in each of the last 2 years by Southern Columbia.
Okay.
So if the Tigers can get past Shikellamy in Thursday's semifinal, it might make for an interesting final.
So if Selinsgrove is going to get upset, you think probably not going to happen, but Southern would have a better chance to do it than Shikellamy?
Well, in the 2 games this year that Southern Columbia and Shikellamy have played, Southern Columbia won both, but 3-2 in overtime and 2-0 when the teams played to a scoreless first half.
Okay.
So it happened to give Southern Columbia a bit of an edge in that opening, in that semifinal game. When you consider that Selinsgrove has played both Southern Columbia and Shikellamy twice each in Heartland Athletic Conference Division I play this year, and those aggregate scores are 22-1. I'm not sure anybody can really keep up with Selinsgrove in that district.
Okay, let's take a look at Class A, which may be a little bit more wide open. Lion Mountain's the top seed and is the defending district champion. How many years have they won?
They've won 2 in a row.
Okay. 2 seed Lewisburg, good team. 3rd seed Bloomsburg won its 11th straight HAC title.
Correct.
And Mifflinburg, 4 seed, made a deep run last year in the playoffs, and 5 seed Midwest. It seems like a really strong Class A bracket. Who do you have as the favorite there?
Well, it is. It is strong, and I first like to credit the district for going to the power ranking this year. If you look at the seeding and how it fell, the top seed is not the team with the most wins. Lewisburg and Bloomsburg tied with 13 wins apiece. But you have at the number 1 overall seed, Lion Mountain, which was 11-5-2, but played by far the tougher schedule and was rewarded for that with the top seed. So not only because Lion Mountain is the 2-time defending district champion, but because of the schedule it played and the success that it's had, I think that top seed is well deserved, and I would count the Eagles as a favorite going in. The one caveat to that is the fact that Lion Mountain is predominantly a grass team, and all district playoffs and all postseason games, that is, through the state playoffs, are played on artificial surface. So that may tend to favor teams that play on that more often. Selinsgrove, of course, being one. Bloomsburg plays on artificial turf. Central Columbia, and on down the line. So Lion Mountain has to adapt its game a little bit for a faster, sometimes more precise game than what can be a choppy and slower paced game on a natural surface.
Okay.
But I would give Lion Mountain the edge. The curiosity there is, if Lion Mountain makes it to the championship game for the 3rd straight year, will they see someone different? They've seen 2 different teams their first 2 championship years. They beat Bloomsburg their first year and beat Mifflinburg last year to repeat. I think it's quite possible they will see a 3rd different team if they make it to the final.
You think Lewisburg?
I think Lewisburg has good potential, Kurt. I really do. They're coming off a win over Bloomsburg in their last game. Now, that was on grass, and it was in overtime. Junior Izzy Zaleski with the game-winning goal. She has 12 this year and 33 points. Gabby Markunis leads the team at 17 goals with 43 points overall. Bloomsburg is still a strong team. It's played a lot of its games this year on artificial surface at Bloomsburg University, given the unplayable conditions of the team's home field, which had been flooded and was not able to be revamped in time to play most of its schedule. So Bloomsburg got a lot of experience playing on turf this year with a good portion of its games at Steph Pettit Stadium at Bloomsburg University. But Lewisburg is a team that has played Bloomsburg once this year on that turf at BU. I think it learned a lot from that loss, and I think it walked away with a better understanding of what it would take to beat a Bloomsburg in that situation. So I would give Lewisburg a tiny bit of an edge with the opportunity to match up with Bloomsburg in the semifinals and possibly pull off that win there as the higher seed.
Okay. Looking at the bottom half of the bracket, I'll give you Mifflinburg at 4 and lower. So 5 Midwest, 6 Central, 7 Muncie, or 8 Danville. If any of those 5 teams are going to pull an upset or 2 and make a run, who would you think could come out of that group?
I'd say a dark horse, Kurt, might be Midwest.
Okay.
It's a team that in its last victory beat Lewisburg, albeit again on grass. A huge win for Midwest, which spoiled Lewisburg's bid to tie and earn a share of the Heartland 2 championship with Bloomsburg. When Midwest got that win, it moved to 9-7 on the year. The Mustangs had 2 games canceled. They didn't get their full allotment of 18 games this year. However, they do have a proven scorer in junior Brenna Brown. She has 12 goals this year after leading the area last year, leading the Heartland, I should say, with 26 last year. And in the absence of their all-star goalie, Nikki Piccioni, they've gone to Aaliyah Gemberling, who has shown up well in this past month and has played at a high level. So I think if you're talking about field hockey, where one goal and good defense and good goalkeeping is sometimes enough to get you a win and advance, I think Midwest might have a good recipe there with Brenna Brown and Aaliyah Gemberling. However, Mifflinburg, being something of a rival from when both teams were in Heartland 1, won't go quietly and might be the more athletic, deeper and more potent team on an artificial surface. So that I look to that Midwest Mifflinburg game to be probably the best of all the quarterfinal matchups tomorrow night.
Okay. Most of our teams play in District 4, obviously. I want to take a quick look at District 3, Class A. We cover Greenwood, the best player around in Peyton Worth. Greenwood's the defending state champions. Weren't the District 3 champions last year, but they're the top seed this year in District 3 at 16-1. What do you think of the Wildcats' chances for either a district title that they didn't get last year, or at least a deep enough run to get to the state tournament again?
Well, there's obviously a bullseye on Greenwood's back with being the defending state champion and having quite possibly the best player in the state in senior Peyton Worth, an All-American and Penn State recruit who has scored 40 goals for the third consecutive year. Greenwood has never won a district championship. Beyond its 11 consecutive Tri-Valley League titles, and I think they've won 21 overall, like I said, the last 11 in a row, they've never won a district championship. So it goes to show the strength of the district overall, and there are just tremendous teams. Ole Valley is in this district. Newport, a Tri-Valley League foe, is a good team that's played in the state semifinals last year. So, Greenwood certainly has its work cut out for it. The one thing I would say is when you have a player like Peyton Worth on your team, it's hard to be considered anything less than the favorite. She scored both goals in their state championship win over Wyoming Seminary last year. She is a singular talent. Any team that plays them not only has to come up with a way to defend her and slow her down, but other players such as sophomores Leah Briner and Haley Worth. They're not a one-person team by any stretch of the imagination, but that one person in and of herself will make life very difficult for other teams. So with a first-round bye and the opportunity to play a Boiling Springs, which the Wildcats have already beaten twice this year, or Littlestown, I see them easily moving to the semifinals of District 3, where things will get more intense and a little more. They'll have their work cut out for them at that point.
Okay, great. So we saved the best for last with Scott. We've gone over cross country, boys and girls soccer, and now field hockey. I hope you liked our playoff preview. Thanks for watching.